Well, there goes your social life.
I can tell you my problems, meditating my silence. But I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like sin, not no breath, low dollar.
So I have a meeting today with an editor, and this is just a strategy session, kind of going over information, questions, and whatnot. So I've used an editor before. I have a book that is written and ready to be published, edited fully. What's stopping with that is that I do have a second installment. That is the duet series that I mentioned before earlier in my podcasting and vlogging journey. And so I need to work on that. So it's not the first time I've worked with an editor, but it is the first time I've had a session like this one. So I'm going to go into this with optimistic, of course, because like, why not? And I have a couple questions. I'm still going through like my work in progress and then looking at my actual process of like writing and things like that, and making some notes so I can sit down and talk with her and just kind of go from there. So I bring this up because I saw a video, a TikTok earlier, a couple days ago. If I can remember it, I'll put it in here. But essentially it was a young woman who was talking about like writing and publishing, and how a lot of advice is like, don't publish until you have the money for everything. And she was going through the different processes and even mentioned like some of her health, well, maybe I won't add it, because she did mention some of her own like health and financial issues. And like, she brought it up to essentially say like, yeah, you may not have a book cover or an edited book that looks like a traditionally published novel, or even look as polished as some indie novels, but don't let that stop you, because if you're waiting for the right time or for the right money or for the right circumstance, it may never come. And that resonated with me, not just because I believe her, because I'm with her there. And she made it clear, and I'm making it clear as well, it's not shaming you. If you have the ability to do those things, then do that and have access. But I'll say that I feel the same way. There is a lot, or used to be rather, a whole lot of stigma with self-published, indie published stuff as not being high quality. But when you look at that, and a lot of trades and a lot of spaces that we inhabit, that is the ideal based off of like what? Access. So even with a job like, let's say, working at a factory, oh, that's not as prestigious as, you know, getting a bachelor's degree from college and then doing this thing with it. Okay, why is that? Is it because you spent X amount of dollars, be it scholarship, paid for out of pocket, or whatever? Like, what makes one better than the other? And to bring it, kind of wrap it all up full circle, like, I'm utilizing this resource and I'm happy that I'm able to do that. It's still a little scary because you're talking with someone who's going to dive into your work and discuss your work and maybe pick out some things that you're not either ready to hear or that you maybe thought was great and the best thing since sliced bread. And you don't always have to take people's advice just because they're providing it to you, even if you've paid for the service, if it was a free service, if it was just a service period. So I don't know, I guess I'm just getting at, if you're watching this and you want to publish but access, because you do see a lot of book talkers and booktubers and people in book spaces who can rattle off all these books that they've read, all these books that they're currently writing, all these avenues that they're taking with their work. And I can imagine it would get a little frustrating, or maybe even make you feel like some kind of way because you don't have access to those things. But back to that original point of the young lady from TikTok a few days ago, do it. You can always redo a cover. You can always re-edit and release a book. Like, yeah, if you want to wait to a certain amount of time because you're like, oh, I want this to be my debut, I want it to look and feel a certain way, then do that. But don't let money and access be the thing that stops you when there's so many free resources out there. There's so many programs, there's so much software, there's people who are willing to read over stuff. Like the very fact that fan fiction is such a huge industry that also that gets shitted on, which I don't understand why. Just because you're using characters that are in an already existed universe does not make the fan fiction community any less valid. But that's my tangent, that's my rant. I'm going to wrap it up with me just coming up with more things to try to kind of carry the conversation, because I don't want to waste the editor's time just sitting there like, and what about, I want to be prepared, but yeah, just kind of food for thought. So I hope y'all are doing okay.
Used to be left on red, now all the girls go holler. Now all the girls go follow. All the fake fans gon' pile up. I need peace to borrow, get that shit right back tomorrow. Somehow all the fans go bravo. Smile so much to hide my sorrows. Faith is shaky in vibrato. I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long. Look, running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes. I can't hold a frown too long.
So, cooked, cleaned, wrote a little bit. I've been working. I'm tired. I went over the information that I got from my call with the editor last night, and I'm very excited. And funny enough, not funny enough, but I'm at a point where I'm ready to be done. I've said it in previous vlogs, I know that, but I'm at a point now where the fear of going past the point I've never been before is kind of dissipated, or it's a little bit quieter than it was before. And now my excitement to get over that hump was only amplified by that conversation with the editor. So I'm excited, man. So now I have some things to kind of look forward to, and I'll kind of put on my list and see like what I'm going to do first and how I'm going to attack it, because it's still a little scary because I haven't gone this far before, and there's some things that I've actually done, but I haven't done them, I don't want to say in a professional way, but in a way that you would go about doing them to get stuff that's so backwards. So what I'm saying is, like, I've written before, I've wrote books, I've thrown them up, I've had them for sale, but I have not gone at it with the trappings of like getting the editor, getting things in place. Like, I've done the things before, but just without the focus that I have now. So even the things that was suggested from the editor, a lot of which I'd already been doing, but just not in a focused way, I'll say that. So yeah, I'm gonna sit with that list for a minute, eat this food, and come up with a game plan, because I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm still a little scared, y'all. I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready. And so many good releases coming out, both in music and in books and in TV. But like, with diving into this like creative space, with fresh new eyes and with a solid editor who I like and enjoy, like in my ear, give me insight, is only helping to make things that much better. So we're gonna see, y'all. We're moving things forward.
I can't stay down too long. Look, running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes. Couple things I know, couple things I show, couple things I don't. I can tell you my problems, I can tell you my sins.